In a world filled with screens and distractions, we invite you to reconnect with the natural world around you. Welcome to Nature Bound, a podcast dedicated to unpacking the intrinsic bond between humans and nature. We'll uncover the benefits of spending time outdoors, including how a nature-centric lifestyle can improve your mental health, elevate your leadership skills, and unleash your creativity. And now here's your host, outdoor enthusiast, and renowned author of The 7 Principles of the Magic Rock, Emanuel Rose.
What about photography and storytelling and capturing the essence of a trip? Do you always take a camera with you?
I always have my phone,
Yeah.
so that has the
Hmm.
camera in it.
Right.
Um, and sometimes I take pictures, and sometimes I don't. Like
Yeah. Right.
I don't. I like to just be in that moment, right? And I
Hmm. Hmm.
get done. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have had something that to remember. Like I was in Saskatchewan, and the Northern Lights were going off, and I actually got a couple good pictures of that, and
Oh,
that was
cool.
that was awesome. So I got kind of a bucket list photo, which was cool.
Nice.
Um, and then in my trip to Eastern Oregon, one of my buddies is a professional photographer, and he just followed me around while I was up on game hunting and took
Oh,
pictures
wow.
of me. So,
Cool.
um, that is such an amazing gift because I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could just do what I do, and he was capturing it for me,
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
which
times
was
that's me with the camera doing that. But the older I get, though, I don't take that stuff anymore because the phone does such a fantastic job. And these
yeah.
phones, the latest version of the Apple iPhone, you can print those, get those things to a decent size to print if you want to do, if you want prints.
Yeah.
But most of us don't print photos anymore. We just want them for the memories.
And then, I mean, I think it's important also for me that I come back and I capture some piece of these trips and either write some poetry or write a story or
Mm-hmm.
like I'm gonna write a book that'll go along with the photos that Kelly took of me,
Mm.
just because they're so gorgeous. I want to
Yeah,
want to
cool.
honor his photos of
Right,
me,
right, yeah.
because and they're gonna get printed because they're amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's
And
cool. It's good to have friends like that. Yeah.
yeah,
And some of these, these days you could create a mini book or a picture book or something for every trip. It's so easy to go online and, throw the photos up on there. And next thing you know, a week later, you got a book at your doorstep. So
yeah, the printing is
it's incredible.
yeah, it's only things we could dream of, 30 years ago.
Right.
There's no doubt.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have any road trip traditions that you use? Is there something that you always preparation that you always do, or something that you always take, or a place you always this is my annual. I go here once a year, every year for 20 years. I've been going. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I have a number of annual trips. So starts with uh starts with a I guess the season actually is
Yeah, drives it. Yeah,
September is when the outdoor season starts for me, Labor Day.
yeah,
So that's steelhead. Then we go goose hunting after that. Then we go upland hunting after that. Then we'll do the duck season, and then that goes until January. Then winter steelhead, and then turkey season.
yeah,
Then the stonefly hatch,
yeah. And then
and
deer season's in there somewhere, probably.
yeah, that's that. Then there's the smallmouth, and then we're back to Labor Day. So that's the that's the general my general calendar that starts at September at Labor
Yeah,
Day. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mine's kind of driven by. I don't hunt much anymore. Mine's driven by the fishing and the weather. But I try to get out. I used to get out a lot, not as much as these days, but still at least a handful of times a year. I got to sleep under the stars. Just
yeah.
something about that. Looking at the stars as you're nodding off to sleep just really brings it all home.
Yeah, and seeing, just like the hunter's moon in October, like
Yep.
seeing that
Mm-hmm.
get big and then go away, and you're like, okay, we're in this part of the cycle of the year that
Yeah.
humans have been dealing with for 15,000 years, and
Eons.
it's
Yeah.
such a treat to be able to participate and be alive.
Yeah, it's fun to see the four different seasons when you're out there. You know, you kind of can plan your road trips for spring, summer, fall, and winter, and it's different equipment, different things to do every season. But it's you're right, it's just so awesome, and to be sometimes on the shoulder seasons and watch be in the environment when it changes. That's pretty
Yeah.
fun too. I think first
Yes.
rain or the first wind or the fall leaves are falling. Yeah,
Like the camp that I have in Eastern Oregon, I get there, early October. The leaves on these trees are green. By the time I leave after 3 weeks, then it's been cold enough that all those leaves have
cool.
fallen down, and
Yeah,
it's officially fall. So,
yeah, it's
um,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's powerful.
How many
Reminds us how small
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are.
small we are. Exactly. That's right. Yeah, yeah. How many secret spots do you have?
Oh boy. Um, well, I have a number of secret spots. Um,
You probably have a secret spot in every place you go, right?
yeah, and it has a kind of a dual meaning. The secret spot also is like the spot where I go every day to sit and reflect and
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
think
yeah.
about things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it has
Yep.
that dual meaning.
Your meditation
Um,
spot. Yep.
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, there's a handful, and there are a few spots that are that are my spots that I haven't told anybody about, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, and that's kind of part of the fun of it.
yeah.
But they're
Mm-hmm.
usually just sit spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Yeah.
a tree or a rock or a creek, a spot on the creek that is meaningful to me, or where I've had good realizations, and I want to go back and do it again.
I have a bunch of those around town here in Bishop. Every
Yeah.
afternoon I kind of grab a beer about 4:30 and head out. Don't know where I'm going to go, but end up at one of those spots and crack the beer and let the day fade away and
Yeah.
just think. And yeah, I love it. Yeah, and there's I'm lucky to live in a beautiful space, a lot of public land, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Same out here. I mean, Nevada is like 80% public land.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All you
yeah,
got to do
yeah.
is get in the car and drive for 20 minutes, and
Yeah, that's the
you
same
got a
within your
spot.
county.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice.
What about balancing work and play for those folks with busy schedules? I mean, you and I both, don't have a day job, so to speak, but we're both busy with our hobby jobs, if you will, and
Yeah.
you got to balance that out. Sometimes you got to suck it up. And I got, like right now, I got two podcast episodes I got to crank out, and it's always the case when the last two of the month or whatever, there's audio issues and things and
Oh, yeah,
stuff I
right.
got to clean up. Or, oh, I didn't realize that happened, so it takes a
Oh,
little
it's
longer, but
classic.
yeah, it always is classic. Yeah. How do
Well,
you how do you balance that?
I think one thing is to, if you can, to manipulate your job so you can work remote. That's the first
There
secret.
you go. I agree. Yeah.
And then the second thing is Starlink. And that is really what has changed my life, is that I've got a battery pack, a solar panel, Starlink, and I can work from everywhere now. And
Yeah.
and I've
Hmm.
been as remote as you can be, where there's no cellular and no external Wi-Fi, and the Starlink is 400 megabytes a second. So
It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
I have it
So
here at the house, but do you have a mini that you travel with, or what do you have to
no,
travel with?
it's the I think it's Gen 2 or whatever,
Uh-huh.
Um, but the first thing is to get that remote work
Yeah.
set up, right? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
and then once
Yeah.
you have that, then take the time to plan and build your calendar around the things that are important to you. That
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
that's the secret.
Yeah. That's good advice. Yeah. And there's, like you say, Starlink, and sometimes though, I've been out without internet, and surprisingly, if you plan well, you can get a lot of the stuff because generally we're content creators, right? So you can go create the content and then come home and put it all together and upload it. You don't
Yeah,
have to do everything out there or everything at home.
no,
You
it's
know,
true. Yeah,
yeah,
but it's freed me up to where I can be on the road for 5 weeks and not miss a
yeah,
beat. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I have this Starlink here at the house, and I haven't taken it on the road yet, but I've thought about it. I probably should just try that one time just to see how it works.
just to get the correct battery pack, right? That's
Yeah,
the
exactly. That's
biggest
the
thing.
power. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And what about learning from the locals? Do you often, we talked about going into the fly shop, but do
Yeah.
you, I kind of hesitate to bother other people when they're fishing and things, but a lot of times you walk by a guy and he says, yeah, no, you're from out here. Yeah. Oh, pick his brain. You do that a lot?
Yeah, I do. I think that's part of the fun of it.
Part of the
Um,
brotherhood of it or the community of it too, right? You always got to pick the brain of the locals.
yeah, and you could tell who the guys are that want to have a conversation, who
Yeah, uh-huh.
guys that
Uh-huh.
don't want to. That's the first thing, right?
That's right. That's right.
And yeah, so yeah, I think that's important uh, to be connected to the people who live there and
Mhm.
share information, get information, and be willing to contribute. Right?
Yeah, yeah, you got to do both. Yeah, and I think and your home waters, right? A lot of times I'm out fishing here, and I help people out. Like, yeah,
Sure.
no, you don't want to be fishing with no one else. Throw a caddis on there, and
Yeah.
you'll be fine. Whatever it is, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
good.
so like I just had a situation where I'm in Eastern Oregon. I go to the barber. I gave him some books, some coloring books for him that I had produced to give to the kids, and
Cool.
he gave one to a landowner who then uh, got in touch with me and let me hunt on private property.
Oh, cool.
So it was a nice little
Hmm.
kismet there, and that kind of reinforces my willingness to participate in the local community even when I'm traveling.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's all about community, and all these places, some of these off the beaten path places, they tend to be a little more close knit because they want to keep their community tight. But once you show that, you're just like them, and you're not gonna, you're gonna care for it the way they do, they open right up, and it's
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's like
that
that
was
guy we got in Ireland to take us fishing. That was amazing. But if we were a
yeah.
bunch of knuckleheads, he wouldn't have taken us fishing.
Yeah, if you had met him in the pub, it would have been different.
Probably not. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, what do you think about the future of road trips? Do you think they're going to continue? We're going to go on road trips forever? I know I am, as long as I live, but I
I
don't know about
think it's
everybody
part of the
else.
human spirit, right?
I think you're right.
We want to go and adventure and see the strange and go someplace where we haven't been before and experience things. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think it's especially with all the access and all the great gear and
yeah,
all the information, like any activity that somebody's involved in, whether it's rock climbing or kayaking or hunting and fishing, they have access to all the information about where to
yeah,
go and what to do and be aspirational about getting out of town and getting a new experience.
yeah. And I think there's something ancestral about it too, because um, we don't go long distances to get our food anymore or travel from winter home
Right.
grounds to summer home grounds like we used to. There's none of that back and forth that we're
Yeah.
just it's I think it's ingrained in us. So I think the camping and getting out is just part of that too. I got to go out at least once a month for a weekend or something, and I feel like I'm pent up when I don't.
I like that. Yeah, it is. It is something that is that's what the migration. We
Right.
used to go back and forth. Yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
point.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, we got to get off the screens. We got to do something that's
Yeah.
outside and
Yeah.
experience things in the physical body. So, yeah, humans will keep doing this. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Well, as I always say, make time to get outside.
I agree. Get nature bound.
There you go. Get nature bound. There you go. We both have two good slogans. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, it's been great talking to you. I'm glad we made this plan, and I hope everybody appreciates it. And we'll come up with something else to talk about in the future.
All right. It's awesome. Thanks a lot, Rick. It was fun.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Nature Bound. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Be sure to purchase your copy of The 7 Principles of the Magic Rock at emanuelrose.com or on Amazon. We thank you again for joining us today, and remember to get nature bound.